The venue was Alex Ekweme Square, Awka, Anambra State. Anambrarians came out in droves to witness for the first time a seamless transition from one democratically elected government to another. Mr. Peter Obi handed over the helms of affairs of Anambra State to Chief Dr. Willie Obiano in the presence of thousands of visitors from all over the country. The event was witnessed by millions of people globally. Dr. Nkem Okeke, a financial economics expert, also took oath of office as Deputy Governor of Anambra State. In his inaugural speech, His Excellency, Dr. Willie Obiano, marshaled out the four pillars of his economic engine as agriculture, trade and commerce, industrialization, and oil and gas.
These are the four pillars of the Anambra way of development. They constitute the treasure box of Anambra State and the nation through which we shall light up the economic enablers like education, health, the environment, youth and sports development, security, transportation, other infrastructure, housing and urban planning, women, children, social infrastructure, among others.
Obodo Anambra wesirike na banike wanaba na wele wagole ezigbo ọchịchị na-ewetele na Anambra maka na bogbolike na lụọlụ si onye ọbụla na-atawa ndị Anambra bi n'ofesi onye ọbụla na-atalụ ụlọ ka anyị nye aka wee doziwe Anambra ka Anambra wee dị mma Anambra adịgo mma onye ọbụla nyezi aka ka obodo anyị wee dị mma wee dịle gaba n'iru ka anyị ga na-aga ịna na-azụ adịrịa Willie na-alụ ọlụ.
Swearing in his principal officers made up of seasoned technocrats on his first day in office was an early indication of the governor's determination to fulfill his election promises. He appointed Mr. Oseloka Baze, the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Joe Asike, the Chief of Staff, and Mr. Willie Nwokoye, the Principal Secretary. Shortly after, he inaugurated the commissioners and various committees to oversee key sectors of the state's administration. These committees, acting in advisory roles, were mandated to critically study the real situation in the key sectors and advise the governor on bankable interventions that will assist the government in functional policy formulation and decision-making. Governor Willie Obiano understands that to achieve his electoral promises to Ndi Anambra, key economic enablers will have to be activated. These include adequate security, motorable access roads and bridges connecting rural areas, a clean environment, modern health care, qualitative education, youth employment, women and child protection. Governor Willie Obiano understands fully that to achieve his mission to take Ndi Anambra to greater heights, the security of lives and property of the people needs to be assured. The first State Security Council meeting, chaired by the governor on his second day in office, brought to bear the challenges of security in Anambra State. Here, the governor presented his vision and commitment towards a safe Anambra.
We have said and said severally that there's no room for any criminal in Anambra. We are going to go after everybody and we are going to arrest, detain, prosecute, convict where the court does allow, all the criminals that are there.
Well, one of the first issues on his agenda is security. He had looked at the security of the state and he has realized that there will be no development without security. So we observed that, yes, he was serious about what he was telling us.
Barely 3 weeks after his inauguration, Governor Obiano convoked a security summit anchored on security, the panacea for economic development. Participants at the summit included the police, army, navy, and the NDLEA. Also in attendance were internationally acclaimed security experts. These prime security professionals brainstormed on the security challenges of the state and highlighted possibilities towards containing them.
It was a very successful conference, and from there we were able to raise initial sums of money that we used in buying the gadgets for the joint task force. Today the police can talk to themselves, the vehicles can interact, talk to themselves.
And in no time, the results of the governor's drive to rid Anambra of criminals became evident. Kidnapping, robbery, and drug syndicates have been smashed. Forgers of vehicle number plates and child traffickers are being mopped up. According to the criminal law of the state, properties acquired from the proceeds of kidnapping are confiscated and demolished as a deterrent to those who might be attracted to the allurements of ill-gotten quick wealth. A sense of relative peace is now evident. People go about their businesses in Anambra State without fear of molestation from hoodlums.
Within his first 30 days in office, he was able to accomplish what other people could not do in the last 10 years. Fighting these criminals, destroying properties belonging to them, and forcing some of them to leave Anambra State. At least we are having more than 90% peace. People who are abroad now, they come back without fear. Lagos, Abuja, they are all back.
With his sense of security, we now feel we are safe in the state. We go about our business.
Understanding the need to improve the agri sector in the state, Governor Obiano, 4 days after assuming office, set up a 14-member committee on agriculture. Governor Obiano charged the committee to articulate a roadmap that would enable the state to ensure food security and job creation through mechanized farming and agro-allied industries. While flagging off the 2014 farming season in the state, the governor rolled out the policy of his government that will enhance farming activities and increase the productivity of farmers in the state. The Obiano government is concluding plans to make available hundreds of tractors and other mechanized farm tools to state-registered cooperative farmers. The state government also targets being West Africa's largest producer of fingerlings. It has concluded plans to commence training of youths in fish farming and animal husbandry. This program, which will cover all the local government areas, will be run through vocational institutes to be located in each of the senatorial zones.
Assured that our choice of agriculture as a major pillar of my administration was the right choice. The importance of agriculture is not just limited to its historical value, nor is it limited to its usefulness in providing us the food we eat. All over the world, agriculture is also known as the largest employer of labor. In full appreciation of the immense potentials of agriculture, a few days after my administration came into place, I inaugurated a special committee on agriculture and charged it to draw up a blueprint for revolutionizing agriculture in Anambra State. In order to give a clear direction to its deliberation, I outlined my vision for agriculture to the committee in the following terms. That Anambra State should be among the top 3 states in agriculture production in Nigeria. That Anambra should become #1 in the production of rice, cassava, and fish in the first 4 years of my administration.
Encouraged by Governor Obiano's policies in agriculture, Coscharis is collaborating with the state government to establish a 3,000-hectare rice farm in Anako, Ayamelum local government area of Anambra State.
It is a project designed to revolutionize agriculture and agribusiness in Anambra State. It is designed to be a state-of-art technological-driven agriculture. This ANAC project is planned to provide 500 direct and 2,000 indirect jobs upon fully completion. This project dovetails directly to the agricultural strategy of the current administration in Anambra State. It also fitted perfectly into the agricultural transformation agenda of the federal government. Both administrations are clearly armed with the knowledge that no nation can be truly emancipated if its people are hungry or unfed.
We have two segments in our agricultural approach. One is to aid the local farmers, teach them practices that will improve their yield yearly through mechanization, fertilizer usages, and what have you. The second segment is the one that I'm doing here today, which is the commercial agricultural guys.
The Governor, Chief Willie Obiano, has conceived a very good project. He's attracting youth back to the farm to replace the aged farmers. And I bet you this thing is going to be a success.
Another major enabler for the successful development of agriculture in the state is motorable roads and bridges connecting the rural areas where the majority of farms are located. Governor Obiano has not only ensured that the construction of the many roads commenced by the previous administration are completed, but has also commenced the construction of numerous other roads and bridges that lead majorly into the rural areas. These will give the people easy access to evacuate their produce to bigger and more profitable markets. 14 roads with a total length of over 124 kilometers and 5 bridges have been flagged off by Governor Obiano. This act gives the people hope for a better future.
Because if you are talking of agriculture, you must give access to the farm. If you are talking of oil and gas, you must give access to the oil fields. If you are talking of trade and industry, people have to move. The roads must be in good condition. If you are talking of industrialization, people have to get access to those industrialists who have access to their factories. That is why the road infrastructure is very, very prominent in what we are doing. And the governor noticed that and is really doing everything possible to make sure he keeps his promise to the people.
My predecessor has done a lot of good work on road and road infrastructure, and there's still a lot more roads to be done, and therefore I prioritize. I'm trying to do roads that move into the food producing areas so that these foods can be evacuated, and that will open up activities in those areas for the community, and so it's a way to go. So most of my roads are going to specific areas. It's also going to earmarked areas for housing, like the Greenwood you saw, doing a major 3-lane going in there. For 1 or 2 other housing areas we have identified, we just flagged off some roads that are going to go in there, so that developers, when they come, would have seen that there's a proper access. And every road we are doing in Anambra under my watch will have street lights. So it's very important. That will improve all the kinds of things that we are doing.
Anambra, a huge commercial enclave, has a trading economy, and Governor Obiano is putting measures in place to harness its potentials. This administration plans to locate new markets with modern facilities at strategic points in the state.
What we've tried to do in this area is to modernize existing markets. So work is ongoing now with solar-powered lighting. If you go to our markets, at night it's pitch black. So we're trying to change that completely. We're also providing them with borehole conveniences, ensuring you have like food courts and so on. We're also planning new markets in Oba, in Oka, in Umunze, as well as Obunike. So these new markets will be hypermarkets and they'll be very modern. They will have fire stations, they will have health facilities. We'll make sure there is adequate parking. There is no market you go to today that you can park anywhere. Even the traders themselves are parking on the streets. And we're saying no. So the new markets are coming. We're working very hard on the PPP arrangement to make sure private sector is involved. You know, Anambra, we're still working hard to get our IGR.
One key enabler for an industrialized economy is adequate electricity supply to industries. Although power is not in the purview of the state governments, the Obiano administration is determined to facilitate availability of adequate power supply to industrial parks. The governor is currently working with the power distribution companies as well as creating bankable power generating clusters in industrial layouts and farming communities in the state.
The electricity plant, they are doing very close to Nnewi. But that one, we know that it's federal government job. But he promised he's talking to them. And the other day, the Minister for Power come to Nnewi to inspect that facility. It shows that he's doing something, because it is when we go to him and tell him about it, then after 2 weeks, the minister came, showing that he went for a bill for it. That's what he will do.
Discussing with investors to build catchment power plants, captive, that will be used by agro-allied industries that will be processing all this farm produce. So that's one. For industrial clusters as well, we're getting industrialists to come together to enter into take-or-pay long-term contracts. That it makes a power project bankable, because banks can provide funding to an investor to build a power plant as long as they know that there are industrialists that will take the power.
With the discovery of crude oil and the refining activities by Orient Petroleum, Anambra has joined the League of Oil and Gas Producing States in Nigeria.
Anambra is an oil and gas state, and I've taken necessary steps, to write appropriate areas and sensitize the relevant areas about the possibility of amending the law to make Anambra the 10th oil producing state in Nigeria. As we speak, Orient Petroleum is producing about 6,000 barrels per day, and they're about to set up a refinery which will be ready in 9 months. This refinery will process 52,000 barrels per day crude. But more critically, one of the things that will come out of that crude processing is ATK, the aviation fuel. And that ATK will have a dump at the airport. So this will, when the airport is fully done, all international flights that currently take their fueling in Ghana will be coming to Mweri to be fueling. And this is a big project for my people.
Anambra State has a rich cultural heritage and many undeveloped tourist attractions that have the potentials to be big money spinners. The development of tourist attractions like the famous Obunike Cave, Owelezekala Waterfalls, and the completion of Agule Lake Tourist Resort are top on the governor's agenda for the tourism sector.
I believe that Anambra has what it takes to bring the world over here. We have the likes of Obunike, which is incidentally very virgin. It has not been touched by anybody. What I intend to do with that cave is that I'm going to get explorers, whether they are white men or on the Anambra or wherever they want to come. I want them to go into that cave and do a proper exploration. I want to also 1 week during December to declare it a cultural week, where all kinds of things will happen in the various local governments. Everybody bringing out their best masquerade, all those things that made us the Igbo people that we are, the Indian Anambra we are going to show off during that 1 week.
In his inaugural speech, the governor promised in the Anambra a new state capital befitting its status. Land has been earmarked for the purpose of achieving the state capital the people eagerly yearn for. This will be achieved by the functions of the Awka Capital Development Authority.
They are charged with moving Awka, to be a proper state capital. When I spoke with them, I showed them a picture of Dubai, 1999, and picture of Dubai 13 years after. Picture of Dubai in 1999, if you will, was like Awka, and only 13 years, 1-3, they moved to that level that they are. They didn't have all the money at 30 years earlier when they were making that move, but they have the kind of things I have now: resources, good advisors, good intelligence, the determination to drive, and the linkage effects to raise the money. That is very critical in state development. Most of the development you see is not going to be done by government alone. What they want you to do is to show and give them infrastructure, provide them security, and ensure infrastructure, meaning security and power, and they will come and do so when they buy into the plan, overall plan. I'm flagging off the first 3 flyovers in Awka. First 3 flyovers, one has a tunnel, and those things will be finished in 12 months to 14 months time.
The Governor Obiano administration is changing the mindset of Ndi Anambra towards paying taxes. Ndi Anambra are beginning to understand that it is their civic responsibility to pay taxes as their holdings in government.
So we are one of the states with very poor or very low IGR, internally generated revenue base. And this administration is driving towards that. And it will be very useful if our people understood that government cannot undertake projects unless it has the resources.
All we are trying to do is to block leakages. Before now, there's massive leakage in the revenue collection. So what I'm trying to do is to just see how much of it I can block significantly, to be able to, so that the government, what is due to Anambra State can be coming to Anambra State and be used for the development of all these laudable things I'm doing for the people.
Anambra's First Lady, Mrs. Willie Obiano, is complementing the socio-economic responsibility of Governor Obiano's administration through her Family Enhancement Initiative.
What we're focusing on is making people, the Anambrans, entrepreneurs and employers. Because when you're trained, then you have a training in whatever field, you can help yourself with the little package we're going to give to you to take off. You can start helping yourself, and at some point your business may be even much more than you can handle alone, and automatically that makes you an employer when you start getting people to help you out.
In furtherance of Governor Obiano's conviction that the best of Anambra should be harnessed in achieving his dream of a greater Anambra, he convened an all-embracing interaction of Anambra State stakeholders. The forum afforded the governor the opportunity of a sincere and quality discourse with a wide spectrum of Anambrarians who have excelled in their various endeavors.
It's a very welcome development. The governor is seeking the collaboration of all the major stakeholders in Anambra State. He's seeking to pioneer essentially a renaissance movement to make Anambrarians think home, to engage the support of the captains of industry, to engage the support of core administrators outside the state and those within the state, those generating employment for the citizens of the state, outside the state and within the state, to come together in a collaborative fashion to assist him in moving the state forward.
Having called people to brainstorm and to marshal out points, some principles to take care of security, take care of agriculture, take care of economic development, and also to make sure that the environment is well kept. So I feel the sincerity in him in involving people makes me feel that he has something to accomplish in the state.
But all in all, he's hitting the key areas to make a quick impact as part of the broader approach that he needs to make and that he promises to make. He acknowledges that Anambra should be an investment destination from all over the world.
So I've seen the support he has given to education, the support he has given to agriculture, and he's also firm resolved to partner with the church. We've seen the signs, and it is going to do him a lot good.
He has all the passions, all the interests, all the willingness to promote the industries. And if we go by what he told us, I'm sure Anambra State is going to be the industrial giant he has been in Nigeria.
He came in and started by meeting with honorable members, having a series of meetings, discussing with them one-on-one. He's not just an executive governor, but he's a friend to the house. If you allow me to say, I'll call him the 31st member of the house because he parleys with everybody.
In just 100 days, the vision and mission of the Obiano administration is manifest.
The vision of Anambra, is to be the first choice investment destination, and a place for economic activity, that will drive and, get our people to be much wealthier than they are currently. The mission is to make Anambra a socially stable, business-friendly environment so that in Anambra and all the foreigners who are doing business here will find home in creating wealth for themselves and for the Anambra that's their residents within, to be able to do and flourish.